Holding a mother accountable for out-of-control criminal behavior by her child. It's something police have been reluctant to do, but it just happened in Utica. A rare arrest, and police did it to prove a point and get other parents to exert more authority over their children. This week, police arrested 36-year-old Nurto Mohamed. Authorities say her 11-year-old son has been involved in at least 4 felonies: robbery, fire at a Walmart, stolen cars, and more. Because of his age, police say they can't charge him criminally, so they've turned their attention to the mother.
This case presents a very interesting question. Are parents responsible for the actions of their children? In its simplest terms, I think we would all agree that the answer is yes. For example, if a child goes into a store and breaks something, almost everyone would agree that their parent should pay for that damage. But now we have something more serious. Are parents responsible for the crimes that their children commit? I don't think we want to say yes, like how we think about the store situation, because a crime is something an individual does on their own. But in the case of children, parents have a responsibility and a duty to watch over them. I think this situation is unfolding because we're seeing more and more acts of violence by children. And sometimes it is difficult to hold them accountable.
Late today, Utica Police Lieutenant Michael Curley and I talked about some of the specifics of this case, why police and prosecutors took this very rare step, and what they're hoping comes of it. What message do you hope that this sends to folks in Utica and beyond?
So this is a very unique situation, considering the age of the child, the amount of crimes that he's been in, the lack of the ability for the police and the community to really do anything about it, coupled with the fact that Raise the Age has just kind of run amok amongst the juvenile population, with this case in particular, and the fact that under 12 cannot be prosecuted in any criminal facility or family court. We felt it prudent that we had to do something in this respect.
As the officer in the video stated, in New York State, a child under the age of 12 cannot be held criminally liable in family or criminal court. In the New York Family Court Act, Section 301.2, titled Definitions, it defines a juvenile delinquent as a person at least 12 and less than 18 years of age having committed an act that would constitute a crime if committed by an adult. Essentially, anyone at least 12 or up to 18 years doing anything that an adult would do that would be a crime, they are a juvenile delinquent. But there's also another definition as well. Section 3 also states a person over the age of 7 and less than 12 years of age having committed an act that would constitute one of the following crimes if committed by an adult, and then a list from A to K, multiple different crimes, and I'll essentially sum it up as homicide. Essentially, in New York, children under 12, unless they commit a homicide, cannot be brought into the court system to be held accountable for their actions. And this now poses a problem when you have an 11-year-old child committing multiple dangerous crimes, including robbery, grand theft auto, arson, and more.
When you arrested this mother in particular and explained why she was going to be placed under arrest, what was the reaction?
I mean, certainly she was unhappy, as dictated by our press release, and certainly I think everyone can understand that by the charge in of itself, this is not the first contact we've had with this mother. It wasn't that a simple juvenile stole a pack of gum from a local convenience store and we're charging a mother for uncare of a juvenile. This child has been in a multitude of felonies, to include robberies, burglaries, stolen vehicles, and a fire at Walmart. So it's not as if these aren't just true public nuisance crimes as well. So this kid isn't just out stealing things, as we said. He's not throwing rocks through windows. This is a case where a juvenile has created a multitude of major safety issues, and the mom has just been unwilling to try to stem those behaviors.
Let me jump in here quickly just to say thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content like this, and allow this channel to reach more people. Back to the video now. Now we have to turn to the parents to hold them culpable. But should we do that? In this case, I think it was more than warranted. As we've seen in other notable national cases, Police and DAs only resort to charging parents for their children's crimes when there is a clear dereliction of duty. Two most notable cases are the mass shootings in Georgia by Colt and the progenitor case, the mass shooting in Oxford, Michigan by Ethan Crumbley. Looking at both of these cases, you don't have your ordinary parents, but you have people who at multiple times and places made conscious decisions to ignore clear warning signs or even go as far as enable their children to commit a crime. The Crumbleys are the most culpable in that they gave their son access to multiple guns and ammunition unsupervised, and they were aware of his troubling behavior. His mom even knew that he was about to shoot people because she texted him, "Don't do it." No one feels sorry that they are spending time in jail after so many people died because of what they did and did not do as parents. While not at the mass murder level, this situation is still just as serious in holding a parent accountable because we have another mother who is not only failing to rear her child properly, but by the accounts of the police, is refusing any service to assist her in taking care of her child.
And you're sure it's unwilling, not unable?
Well, I think there is a very fine line between unwilling and unable. Once you've been notified, informed, and offered services on a multitude of occasions, and you're just not taking advantage of those things, nor attempting in any facility to try to rein in your child's behavior, what are we as the public and we as the police to assist the public supposed to do? Just allow the kid to continue wantonly committing crimes, committing violent crimes, and out there at all hours of the night without supervision? I think it was incumbent upon us just to prove a point that these kind of behaviors will not be allowed, obviously in very certain circumstances. Each and every time we've talked to mom, she either states she doesn't know where he is, or he snuck out, or he's out doing things. And these crimes aren't just occurring at 6 p.m. They're occurring at 1 a.m., at midnight, and later in the morning hours, in which it is their due diligence and their care to make sure their child has proper supervision. And each and every time we've encountered this child and brought him home and spoke to mom, we found that it has been a lack of all care, supervision, and neglect potentially. I mean, obviously that's a charge that can be explored later down the line, but things that just cannot continue due to one, the age of the child and the serious nature of his crimes.
By doing that, I think she definitely has failed as a parent, or as the legal definition states, she fails or refuses to exercise reasonable diligence and has led and allowed her child to commit crimes that harm the public. Ms. Mohamed is being charged with Penal Law 26010, endangering the welfare of a child, which states person is guilty of endangering the welfare of a child when being a parent, guardian, or other person legally charged with the care or custody of a child less than 18 years old, he or she fails or refuses to exercise reasonable diligence in the control of such child to prevent him or her from becoming an abused child, a neglected child, a juvenile delinquent, which we have in this case here, or person in need of supervision, as those terms are defined in Articles 10, 3, and 7 of the Family Court Act. This charge is a misdemeanor, and at most, she faces 364 days in jail. I highly doubt she would face any real jail time, though, because the purpose of this charge is only to instigate affirmative action on her part.
Is there any worry that coming down on mom could make the life of the child worse if mom is saddled with court time, fines, whatever, potential jail time, something like that, that things could end up worse for the kid?
Understood. It's a concern. However, I think in this case, it is endangering the welfare of the child. So we are arguing that mom's behavior has created a situation which either allows this child to act in this behavior or has been unable and unwilling to take care to cease this behavior. So I would argue that mom's own behavior has created the situation in this child's life that he is just free and wanton to do what he wants. And we need to stem that behavior somehow. And if this requires mom to get the services, to adhere to the services and comply with services, I think we've helped the child in the long run.
Hopefully she does so. And if her child still commits crimes, she can say that she actually tried to be a parent. And once that child turns 12, the authorities can take over and handle it from there. But hopefully it doesn't get that far. Let me know how you feel about this situation. Should parents be held responsible for the crimes of their kids? Should more exceptions be made for kids under 12 that haven't committed murder but are still committing serious crimes? And do you agree with my assessments of the situation? Love to hear what you all have to say in the comments below.
In this case, Utica police say they went for a misdemeanor charge against the mother, hoping to get her attention but not upend the family. The punishment could be probation, court-ordered services. Rarely would it be jail time.